Shalom, shalom. This is part 4 of multiple wives, polygamy, sex, marriage, and divorce. This is a continuation from last week's lesson from part 1, 2, and 3, now part 4. I'm recording this for the specific reason of giving the judgment to Yehmimah from France, who was a part of this group and now has been removed herself simultaneously due to this being a dividing line. But in that dividing line, I've given everyone an opportunity to haggle with me on this word. Is this not correct, Israel?
Yes, it's true.
This is absolutely true that I gave everyone a
Correct.
opportunity to challenge me as much as they wanted on this issue, right here in front of my face with respect. Did I not?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
So any slander behind my back, manipulation to degrade me, right, is wicked. All right. So I give this message to any one of my enemies, all those that are in Egypt right now, to hear the judgment of Yehmimah and the truth, while she goes and slanders my name, gives a false judgment, and have damned herself by her own words, and to show you her wickedness. And I say to you that all of you that will participate, support, link hands, and hear and listen to the gossip and the slander of Yehmimah without hearing my side, you're wicked, and her judgment is on you. Anybody that supports Yehmimah in this wickedness that I'm about to explain and prove, you're guilty too. And so I know all of you are still listening to me, and this is for Yehmimah's ears to show you her blindness and her wickedness and what she is calling righteousness, that she does not know the word of Yah. So first I want to give the story of how Yehmimah even came to me. When Yehmimah came to me, she wrote me an email, a long email. In that email, somehow she got to my video about the prophecies and was very honored about receiving the prophecies, and said she would believe what I said, but she wanted to correct me on something else that she believes Yah showed her in a dream. That's how Yehmimah approached me, as a dreamer of dreams. And so I gave her the opportunity to hear her out and so-called correct me according to a vision that Yah gave her in a dream, which was a hand coming out the sky or something like that, and put on the map of Africa. And when she pulled it up in the center, Kenya was there. So she presumed to correct me, right, as a prophet, that Yah showed her that Jerusalem, Israel, was in Kenya. And then I had to kindly, maturely, patiently show her the ignorance and the lack of knowledge in that statement. Ever since I met Yehmimah, she has always been someone who showed herself to want to be a dreamer of dreams. Though she never said she was a prophet, she was claiming it by action, that Yah was showing her visions after visions after visions, dream after dream after dream. In the same breath, when I met Yehmimah, I realized that Yehmimah came to me because of vengeance, because she was dating Jonathan Chilombo. Y'all know who Jonathan Chilombo is, right? That's the Canaanite that I judged for teaching Bantu, Congolese, Boogalooga lies, right? She was dating him. They started off together. So this is her story. And in this, she was telling me that she was now, her eyes have been opened to his witchcraft and his lies about the word of Yah. And I said to her, that's interesting. So, because what had happened is that he broke her heart. She told me that they were committing fornication. I was trying to understand how, because they was a million miles away. I can't really recall, but there was some virtual stuff going on, right? So in her mind at that time, she also knew that the virtual world, the mind, also put her in a situation that is adultery. That was her own judgment when she came to me and asked for forgiveness for Yah for this adultery or fornication. Put it, not adultery, but fornication. And then she came to me to tell me why her eyes was opened all of a sudden, because Jonathan Chilombo was talking on the YouTube, coercing with this other girl, some South African girl that's really cute, got her hair done up, and she be prophesizing all in the video, right? She's a self-proclaimed prophetess that's really large. And her and Jonathan Chilombo got together, and she got jealous of that. because she was telling me that she started Jonathan Chilumba off, right? That she progressed him to get on the YouTube and push this forward. And she felt like she should have had partnership, relationship, recognition with him. And he never gave it to her. What she showed was, what's the word I'm looking for? She showed jealousy and I don't want to, it's not rage, mental instability. Let's put it like this, with him concerning her emotions, and she was mixing the two up. So he dumped her. And that's when she came to me. And she wanted me to go after Jonathan Chilumbo. It took me a year before I did that, because I wasn't going to go after Jonathan Chilumbo on her behalf. And I asked her to pray and go fast and make sure that when she was coming to me, that she wasn't coming to me because she was looking for vengeance, which I absolutely believe that's what she was looking for. So I make this message now because I'm clear about the Yehmimah that came to me when she first came to me. Now, a lot of y'all jumped out of nowhere. When the borders closed and then Egypt finally opened up, y'all all made a decision to jump without going through the whole screening process. So I can't say that I knew Yehmimah like that. Our conversations have been few and in between. But me and Yehmimah arrived together in the airport. And the second day that I saw Yehmimah is when we all met up in the restaurant. And those of you who were there, I will ask for your witness. Is this true or not? That we all met up. The first crew met up in the city and was eating at a restaurant. And Yehmimah showed up. Can somebody tell me how Yehmimah was dressed when she first showed up to present herself to the whole group, brothers and sisters, and where she was sitting in the restaurant? Can somebody tell me by witness?
She was dressed very seductive, splits down the chest and legs showing.
Thank you very much. And I had to say something to Yehmimah. Has this not been a problem? We have been dealing with Yehmimah with dress and modesty for some time now. Sisters and brothers, all of y'all speak up. Just all of y'all say yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And while I was there, and now since I've been going, y'all have been still talking to her about her modesty. They can't see the face. They can only hear y'all.
Correct. Correct.
And she had been called out numerous times, not me, I wasn't there no longer, on her dress.
Correct. That's correct.
Right? And so
by multiple people, numerous times.
Thank you. And so the first day that I saw Yehmimah, she had a button-down dress, like a t-shirt dress, brown or golden brown. The way the buttons were set, I saw all her breasts. Though she had a bra on, I could see all her whole body, her whole body. And then she had the split all the way up her thighs, and she had her legs crossed. She's a very thin, lean woman and carries herself what she calls elegant. I say is sensual and seductive, unmodest. She calls it elegant and soft and sweet. I said it's a whore with makeup on and dressed nice, right? That's what I said. And she had her legs crossed. You know how they sit in when you learn etiquette, and, well, not etiquette, but elegance, right? One cheek sort of up, legs crossed, and then you can see all of your leg all the way up to the thigh, leading both thighs from the underside. Almost like if she had leaned up a little more, you could see the crack type stuff. And the brothers were sitting there, and usually brothers don't have the courage to say, cover up. They didn't have the courage to say a darn thing. They was just looking like this, like as if they didn't see anything. But I knew everybody got a peek of Yehmimah's whole body. And I said something to Yehmimah. And then it was an ongoing thing about Yehmimah's dress being see-through, her having splits, wearing certain kind of fabric that was just lacing her body, that she's jiggling, even though she's not that voluptuous, but still. And so this was an ongoing thing with Yehmimah. So number one, she was resistant from the beginning concerning the dress code and modesty. Now I said, it only takes one peep for a brother to be seduced, and now to have to suffer with that. So now Kenneth, I'm going to ask Kenneth to tell the story. And if anything is missing, I'm going to fill it in. And he's going to read the final text of what took place. And I'm going to fill it in. Kenneth, you are the main witness. Tell the story.
Okay. I was trying to pull up the message.
No, don't go straight to the message. I want the story first and get to the message. Because I was there in the beginning and I was dealing with both of y'all, and it was a struggle for me presuming something that I'm not presuming, and I saw it and I was trying to stop both of y'all from going too far with this. However, you don't know all of her testimony. I know most of yours. You don't know all of hers. And so we'll give witnesses of what she was struggling with this whole thing that caused her to be absolutely blind in the end from this message.
Well, when I saw her, I thought she was very attractive, and I didn't say anything to her. But I remember when you had said to us that, well, I'm Kenneth. Everybody know me as Kenneth. Yes, I'm married. I have 2 children. I'm currently separated, and I'm here out in Egypt by myself. So I remember when you had said to us, you know, if there was anybody on the board that you have high eyes for to let you know, you had told all of us that. And I remember the Shabbat night when I came to you and I said, you know, I thought that Yehmimah was beautiful, and you had said to me, you know, to be very careful with anything that I say to her. And so I went and sat next to her and I talked to her about 5 minutes, and that was that. So then we went on to Bedouin camp, a few of us and yourself, and I had spoken to her very, very little, not much, and I think my attraction for her, you know, grew then, and it seemed like vice versa. So we didn't have any after we had came back from the camp. You had some of the members had came to you and told you. I'm sorry.
I rebuked y'all, both of y'all.
Yes.
I rebuked you
So
first.
some of the members
I
had
didn't know
came
where
and
Yehmimah stood. Yeah.
Some of the members had came to you and said to you, you know, that we were interacting with one another, and you rebuked both of us. So from that point, I never spoken to her again. I did not go near her. I stayed where I was. She was where she was with the rest of the group. And I had no idea that she was really, really struggling with some things that I know you said that you're going to touch on. And so by the time we get fast forward here, and we're now on a
Hold right there. We had two meetings concerning you and Yehmimah. By the time we had the second meeting, I had already realized Yehmimah was guilty now. She's opened, and it was open to everyone that both of y'all was mutually attracted to each other. And we said that y'all was finding your way to each other. And I had ordered y'all to stay away from each other. And I had ordered Yehmimah as well. I ordered you to stay away from her and stop talking to her until you move on and get over this. And I ordered Yehmimah to stop seeking you and your attention. And what did Yehmimah say to me? Can anybody recall what Yehmimah said to me when I gave that order? And what she said about herself and that she was attracted, her attraction to Kenneth. Anybody remember?
She said that she was now over him and that she was moving on, and that she can talk to her brother. Basically, she can talk to her brother because she's not over it and she don't want anybody watching her and thinking that she can talk to him whenever she wants.
Yes. So I had ordered them to stay away from each other, and she basically said she wasn't going to do it. He's part of the group. He's my brother. I'll talk to him if I want to. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm over it, right? In a matter of a day, she supposedly was over it, but up until then, she had been having wet dreams, full out sexual wet dreams about Kenneth that she came and confessed to me through Letitia. Is this correct, Letitia? Can you confirm, please, just to give a witness, so I'm not the only one talking?
Yes, yes, all of it is correct. She was having dreams about Kenneth, and she even confessed it. I think she confessed it to the whole group as well,
The whole
as well
group
as,
as well.
yeah.
She wasn't over him. She was struggling with it and still seeking his attention. With that being said, I spoke to Yehmimah with her denying to remove herself from him in any social matter, to find herself. That still was sort of happening at any opportunity, but I was gone. So with Yehmimah, this was the issue. I could see the disappointment. And I did my best to help them remove themselves from sin, as well as rebuke Yehmimah that we talking about a married man. I said it again. He's a married man. It doesn't matter what's going on in his relationship, whether it's broken or not. In the eyes of Yah, he is a married man. Period. Get your eyes. You cannot, I told him, you cannot have him. I believe that was the beginning of a problem in Yehmimah's heart with me. So moving forward, I'm not there. Kenneth had been to himself for a while. I know that he still was going, maybe struggling with it just a little bit. And I know that Yehmimah was still struggling with it, but she wasn't coming to me. I had to keep finding it out through the grapevine. So leading up to recently, maybe about 3 weeks ago, can Tish and Elizabeth explain their witness about Yehmimah's truth, as she's claiming she was over it? She never was. Who's speaking first, Letitia or Elizabeth? Okay, somebody's chewing. Letitia, are you still there?
I'm still here. Elizabeth looked like she was about to speak.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just gonna have to edit this.
You can go first, Letitia.
It did come to Letitia first. Let me just start Letitia off. Letitia had been coming to me because at this point, her and Yehmimah was really close from the beginning. And all of a sudden, they're together, they're living together. There was a lot of problems rising up between Yehmimah and Tish that I got put in at towards the end of all of this. Go ahead, Tish, you could tell.
So I don't know where to start with.
And the second, I know there's a lot of details, so we can't get into all the details. But one, Yehmimah was having a problem with me, wondering if I was anointed or not.
Mm-hmm.
She went to pray to Yah concerning me and what took place. And in all of that, this is over a week or two period. And and then admitting to you about how she was still struggling very much with her lust, literally coming all over herself with Kenneth, with the thought of Kenneth. No, but before we go there, let me stop. That second meeting that I had, Yehmimah also said something else. She claimed that she realized what was going on with her. I didn't have a daddy, always seeking daddy's loves. So if you give me a little attention, I'm open, I'm easy. Is that true? Y'all remember her saying that? I'm easy.
Yes.
What does that mean? Can y'all translate that in not elegant terms, but in street terms? What, or in Torah terms? When a woman said, I'm easy, give me a little attention and I'm open, I'm easy. What does that mean?
Sounds like a whore. Like it sounds like
that's a whore. That means that you can sleep with me, just let me know. Mind you, she put that out there. And so that's not, you know, so I just want to let y'all know she was rebellious and saying, I'm not going to stay away from Kenneth. I'm not going to stop talking to him. I'm over him. He's a brother. I have a right to, we're grown, that kind of talk. And that she still had issues, daddy issues, attention issues, and she's easy. Okay, now you could tell your portion of the story. So I knew I had to keep eyes on this, but I'm all the way over here. What could I do? Go ahead.
well, I mean, she did come to me about Tzibiyah, about she didn't fully trust her, I guess, so to speak. And she came to me on like 2 different occasions about that. And I recommended that she talk to Talia about that. And then I know she did do a fast pertaining to Talia, but yeah, I ended up showing her herself. She did come to me as well about, she told me about the
Hold on, before you go
I'm
to
sorry.
Kenneth, what did y'all, she came to me and told me that she had an issue with me and that she didn't trust me and she wasn't sure if I
Yeah.
was truly anointed or a prophet of Yah. How could I speak so hard like a man with that kind of roughness and toughness and scream and shout and whatever and be anointed of Yah? And so, but I don't believe that was the end of it because that don't make no sense. If you would have saw my come out of her, does that make any sense for somebody to come all the way to Egypt a year later and say, how could she be anointed because of the way she talked?
It doesn't make sense.
It
Makes
doesn't
no
make
sense.
any sense. That from the first video you ever saw of me, that's what you should have, that's what it was. I didn't misrepresent myself. So I knew that was a lie. But I gave it to her. I knew something else was behind it, right? I'm gonna tell you what she was caught up with. The fact that I told her she can't have Kenneth. Right? She didn't like that. Because she's a spiteful, vengeful woman. And she gonna get her way. So she went and prayed to Yah and fasted, y'all. I said, you went down on your knees and fasted concerning me? Interesting. And what did Yah tell you, right? She's a dreamer of dreams. I want y'all to know this. I've always known that Yehmimah believes that she has the gift of prophecy through dreaming. I just be like, But we're gonna talk about dreams. We're gonna get some knowledge on dreams tonight too. And so go ahead, Yehmimah, because she told it to me too, but not Yehmimah. Let be the witness what she told you to dream. What Yah answered her.
Yeah, he brought to her the her and Kenneth, and that if she, I can't remember exactly what it was, but if she don't stop seeking this man, that I guess the door will be closed for her.
Right, that was her interpretation of it. I'm gonna say that was a good interpretation, right? Because she came to me and told me. So she went to pray and asked, show Yah, show her my faults. Show her that I'm a liar, a witch, a deceiver, right? But Yah show her hers. And basically, what she told me is that she was in an open field or whatever, maybe Egypt, and all the people was around, and Kenneth was all the way down on this road, and it was sunshine and light, right? In that direction where everybody was. But she was looking for Kenneth. She was looking around and seeking for Kenneth. And when she had saw Kenneth all the way on this road, she went to call Kenneth to catch his attention. And as soon as she did that, a big dark wall came out of heaven, boom, and closed her off from the light. And she was in utter darkness. And she had came back to me and told me about what Yah showed her, that Yah resolved it in her heart concerning me, right? And that she knew she was wrong and that she had to stop seeking Kenneth. That if she did not stop seeking Kenneth, she was going to be cut off from the kingdom. I said, that sounds about right, Yehmimah. And I just let that go. Stop seeking Kenneth. Okay, then she came to me another time. But before she came to me a second time, Tish is a witness to it, and I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Y'all can go ahead and be a witness. Before she came to me, she came to y'all about the second. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not absolutely sure about the second time. I just know at some point she did mention to me again that she
was still liking Kenneth.
Was still having issues.
Oh, she didn't tell you about
the dreams.
She was still having dreams. She didn't tell you what had happened in the dream.
I don't. Because she would get mad at me. We would have it, and then
right at this point she didn't trust you any longer. That's why she didn't want to tell you.
Talking
to me, making
so,
you the enemy and not me. But go ahead, Letitia. You muted, Letitia. Where'd you go?
She's frozen. She's frozen.
Am I frozen? Can you hear me?
Go ahead. We hear you now.
Okay. I was saying maybe Elizabeth can speak to that second dream or that second part, because She
So
wasn't
came
talking to me at that
so,
point.
So Yehmimah came to me and told me that she started to tell you, but Yah told her in a dream, don't tell Tish.
Mm.
Yeah. And so she decided not to tell you any longer, right? Because she felt that she couldn't trust you no more. I said, oh, really? So she told me that she had spoke to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, what did she tell you?
So I encountered Yehmimah at her house when she was living with Tish at the time. I went to their house to collect something. I noticed that she wasn't quite herself that day. And so when I was leaving, I asked her if she wanted just to follow me downstairs, just so I could have an opportunity to say, how are you? What's up? You don't seem to be yourself. So when I spoke to her, she said that, she hasn't been too well for the last several days. She's got a lot on her mind. There's a number of issues happening. So I said, do you want to speak about it? And that's when she revealed to me that she is struggling with lust for Kenneth, and that she had a dream, and that in the dream, it was a wet dream in short, and that she woke up and she had, what happens after you have a wet dream, that she was wet basically, and that she, at that time I said to her, obviously, Kenneth is married and that's adultery, and you're walking on really dangerous ground. And she said she understood that. And I offered to pray with her about it. And we discussed what Torah says about it, which she already knew. But she said that she understands that, but she's struggling. She said that she thought that she'd gotten over Kenneth, but that recently she's been having all these thoughts again. And, on that occasion, we prayed together. I prayed for her, really. I prayed for her, reinforcing that, this is something you have to deal with, because this is very dangerous ground. And after that session of prayer, I think we were probably praying for about maybe an hour into this situation, discussing it and praying into it. And she then went on a 3-day fast. And I thought the fast was about the whole Kenneth thing, to, break the stronghold that was in her mind and her heart over him. But at the end of the 3 days, she told me that she received a dream, and that I don't remember the exact detail of the dream, but it's exactly as Talia described it, where she was trying to find Kenneth in the dream. And at some point, he walked through a door and the door closed. And then after that dream, she knew that that was her answer, the answer she received after fasting, but she wanted confirmation. So she prayed, and she said she got her answer in the book of Job, where Yah speaks again, a first time, a second time, and then again, a third time. And her interpretation of that was that she basically messed up twice with the Kenneth situation, and that she's basically on her last warning, that if she, breached Torah again in this way, that would be it for her. Her salvation would be lost. And so we discussed that, how serious that was. And at the time, she appeared to me to recognize the severity of that warning. And so she said, there's no way she is going to, even entertain any ideas about Kenneth. She's cut that off now. She knows there's no possibility for her and Kenneth anymore, because she's not going to lose her salvation. So I was satisfied that, that dream was the answer she needed, and that she'd heeded it. And so that was the last I heard about Kenneth and Yehmimah. And that was maybe 2 months ago, possibly.
She came to me maybe 3-4 weeks ago.
I could be wrong, but it was a while ago. It was a while ago.
Okay, so that's not exactly, she told me the incident. That's not what she told me. She did tell me about the wet dream and that she was struggling with it. She did not tell me that she was going to fast and pray about it. What she asked of me at that time, she said that Yah told her, don't reveal anything to Tish. And I said, why not? She was like, because I think Tish might, well, there was a problem with Tish and her, right? Right after that, it was another call, and Tish and them had an issue. Right after her telling me that, why she didn't want to tell Tish. And so I said, okay. And in that, she wanted, and I could be twisting this up because it happened like a day on top of each other. Which happened first or second, I'm not sure, because I never got the rest, right? And it was just on top of each other. This was right after the death of Fitzgerald. So like a couple of days or a week within the next week, this issue came up, and I was in shock. I was like, so the fear of y'all is not hitting y'all the way it should. And so she comes to me and says, with this whole thing with Tish, why are they arguing? And she was mad with me because I said, well, if y'all want to separate, then you're going to have to go get your own place. Tish is staying. And she came back to me and felt my judgments unfair. She was like, why is it that I have to leave and Tish get to stay? I said, well, first of all, I'm not paying twice for y'all to have an apartment. 2, you got money and Tish is in another position. And 3, Tish was willing to work it out with you. You said, absolutely, I can't work it out with her. And then I asked you why, and you had nothing to tell me. She couldn't give me no accusation of what Tish had done to her. And she was like, well, I'm not sure. Give me another month. I need to check it out. I need to be sure that I don't trust Tish. Why? And I said, come and tell me why. A week later or some days later, she finally came to me and spilled the beans about why she didn't trust Tish. And her thing was that she felt like Tish might be attracted to Kenneth now, and that Kenneth might be liking her. And I said, really? Now, why would you think that? And she was like, well, because I see Tish spending more time with Kenneth and them talking together. The very thing that she told me I wasn't going to do because I have a right, I'm grown, and ain't nothing wrong with it. She comes to presumption and suspicion that Tish and Kenneth got something going on because she sees them just talking together and speaking to each other. And I said, Yehmimah, you're blind and you're jealous. And I said, this is absolutely crazy that I'm having this conversation with you about a married man. I was pissed because she had the audacity to come and ask me, can I send a spy to watch Kenneth and Tish? I said, what? You want me to spy on Tish and Kenneth? Why? Because they're just talking together. I said, do you hear the hypocrisy in what you're asking of me? And I said, even if something was going on, why would I spy for you? If something is wrong with it, then it's something was wrong with what you was doing. But this is just jealousy and you're blind. And I told her, she could say that I lied. I said, I'll get back to you. I said, who would you have me? I said, I'm not in Egypt. Who would you have me? I said, I'll look into it. But who would you have me to spy to watch Letitia and Kenneth? You see the craziness of this? She was like, well, Elizabeth. I said, hell no, right? And I said, hell no, because me and Elizabeth was going through some things already. And she already had gotten Elizabeth what she thinks is in her corner, right? Maybe suspicious already. I don't know. I never really questioned Elizabeth because I wasn't going to go there. All I did was simply just check into it. I think I might have asked Tish. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure, but I wasn't going to come back to Yehmimah and give her no answer. You're right. I think there is something going on between Letitia and Kenneth. So what do we do now, Yehmimah? Right? What do I look like? I never came back to her and said anything. First of all, I knew it wasn't true because I know Tish, how she represented herself from the beginning, had she been jumping all over Yehmimah for this. Why in the world would she submit herself to the very thing that she been jumping all over Yehmimah for? Don't make no sense. And I know Kenneth's eyes is not on Tish, and I know Tish is not on Kenneth. I know that, right? I got insight. People think I don't see. Now, this whole thing about we over it, because Kenneth came to me and was like, I'm over it. She came to me twice, I'm over it. Who's that stupid, y'all? Come on, we all adults. Y'all know it don't work like that, right? How do you know when somebody's over it? There's 2 things that people do to get over it. When they infatuated in lust or deeply liking somebody else, there's 2 things. There's a righteous way to get over it, and there's a worldly way to get over it. But there's only one way that looks the same. What is that way? Because I done told you how to stop it.
They
Can they remove
separate.
themselves?
Separate for a while. Stop talking to each other. I said, don't hold her purse. Don't look in her eyes. Don't sit next to her. Don't hold the door. Don't be polite. Stop being a gentleman. Is this what I not said? And then did I not accuse you, Kenneth, of being what you would call a gentleman, but I said it's actually a Machiavelli. It's flirtatious. That you put too much concern and care and attention on getting the attention of all women in general. But the wrong one with that kind of attention, you would open up and think that, and you was flirting with Yehmimah in an innocent way, as they'll call it. We know what it looks like, y'all. We adults here. And so I had a hard time with both of them, trying to convince them I know what I see. So usually when someone says I'm over it, is because their eyes have gone to what? Someone else. They're lusting after someone else. So really all it is that they're transferring heat, being hot for somebody else. That's not over it. That's just Satan playing with you. You're not over it. Being over somebody does not mean that you got to be sitting in heat and now you're not sitting in that heat in the moment. That doesn't mean you're over somebody. It just means in the moment you're not burning, but you're still in lust. You've already walked in the mentality of lust with that person who is sitting in heat 24/7. So just because you're not in deep heat doesn't mean you over that person. And so I knew that concerning both of them, but I can't keep eyes on them. I'm not there. So now we moved to the camp. And this was now a open, that's what stressed me out about the camp, because this is another kind of situation, and as male and females, if we are not going to walk straight with y'all, the camp situation ain't going to work. That's too close to a woman and a man. That is almost like living together, and you build a relationship by default. If y'all don't know how to walk circumspect with each other, women be shame faces. Brothers, stay out of women's faces in business. Stop smiling in each other's faces. Love, gentlemen, and elegance don't work in Torah together. We don't do that, right? There is a way to be free in Messiah, but that freedom is by walking in the spirit and not in your flesh. You don't get freedom if you still walking in the flesh. You gotta put yourself on punishment if you still walking in the flesh. And if you won't put yourself on punishment, in order not to cause somebody else a downfall, whoever's leadership, rulership, or house you are under, they got to put you on punishment to protect you from yourself and from the other person that's involved with it. And so here I am getting lambasted, right, for trying to protect them from themselves. So Kenneth, you can now bring up what has happened. Now when you're on the camp, they got access to each other. Now, I made a rule, brothers and sisters, single, one-on-one, do not go on a date. Y'all don't go out on the dates and the group don't know, hanging out on the beach at night. This is a romantic scene without chaperone. And so now we living on the beach. Just because the beach is 2 seconds away, the rule still applies. Y'all don't be strolling all off on the beach by yourself at night, sitting up all night on the beach. Don't make occasion for this. When you see the group together on the beach, and then it becomes this kind of thing where y'all sitting up there all night. I'm not saying this is exactly what happened. I don't know exactly how it went down. I wasn't there, right? But grown-ups are not stupid, right? You can see something being created before it actually happens, right? Especially now we all know that there's an attraction there between both of them. And Yehmimah's a flirt. She called it elegance, sweet. She's a flirt. And so, you know, and then everybody starts going off. Goodbye, good night. And you make a habit, and y'all just sitting out like y'all gonna just sit up all night to the wee hours, just the two of y'all. Y'all don't know that even in the club, there's a cue when the party's over. When's the party over, y'all? When does the club say get out and go home? Even the club tells you when to go home.
When they say last call.
Yeah, when the last two people is left, it's time to go home, male and female, because that's called a party after the party. That's what y'all trying to do, right? Now, go ahead. Y'all can tell me what happened. Now, I'm not there, y'all. I'm getting accused of everything. I'm not there. The grown-ups, the elders are there. They feel, see, sense that somehow Yehmimah is linking up with Kenneth. She ended up on his wash days, his cook days, right? They wind up throwing dice, right? And they wind up being right next to each other in the hookah. And I was like, hell no, Satan blew on those dice, y'all. That's what I said. I said, they can't be together. Y'all separate them. So my word was still
There were
standing.
stones to live.
Stones. They threw stones. I said Satan blew on those stones. That wasn't y'all's lot. That was Satan. Cast them again, right? We're not even gonna cast it for Satan to choose. Y'all already decided. Why y'all need to cast lots on a matter that y'all already decided? Separate. Okay, so we had to separate them. Yehmimah was unwilling to give up her room. I'm happy, I'm comfortable, and I was actually shocked that Yehmimah came to the camp, because as it turns out, Yehmimah actually wanted to leave the group a long time ago. But now I realize why she continued to walk this whole time. And I'm just going to spill the beans. She was waiting to catch Kenneth. She was waiting just to catch Kenneth. She already intended on leaving the group. So this message of polygamy and everything brought it out. And so Kenneth, now you can come in and tell what took place. Something happened. She got offended. She was all on the board. Chan wrote something on the board, asked something on the board. She the first one. Yehmimah ain't talk to nobody. She barely show up for Shabbat classes. Y'all don't even barely know her face. She don't talk to nobody, barely talk to the group, right? She just wee, all over the place. And so as soon as Chan writes something, she the first one in there giving him advice. I saw that. And so Oral had to check her because her advice was like elegant advice. It wasn't the right advice, right? Whatever she was telling him to bring for a trip, why is she the one answering this? The first one, she ain't never responded to nobody else on the board. Oh no, I knew what was in her mind. When I saw that, I saw it. So she got offended because two people got on there and corrected the list that she gave Chan. She got offended with Oral because of that. Is that correct, Oral? And something else. So something came up right before Shabbat concerning Yehmimah and Kenneth and everybody. What took place, y'all? I wasn't there. Give your own witness.
Oral didn't hear you.
Oral, go ahead, Oral. As the leader of the group, we know we can trust Oral's word. What took place, Oral?
With the text she sent to Shand.
Yeah, while she was
So
offended, something took place that she had an attitude with everybody.
So she sent Sean sent out a text to the board asking what he should bring, because he had done most of his stuff from Babylon. So he wanted to know if he could bring anything. And she sent a list, which I thought wasn't appropriate, a lot of stuff. And I said to the brother, I text back, no binoculars, because the security gonna take it. And Bill has sent something right after me, no military clothes either. And then I said, brother, I think the only thing you need from that list that she sent you, what Yehmimah sent him, was the filter for your emergency bag. And she came in the kitchen the Friday and she was really mad. And I sensed that something was going on. So I left to buy something at the market, and Talia called me. And the first thing I asked Talia, did you speak to Yehmimah? And she said, no, what? And I said, she came in the kitchen and she was mad. Then something happened later on with she and Vivian. And that's when I heard that she was really mad with me for putting that on the board after she sent that message to Shan.
So this was a beef she had with it. Now, mind you, I believe this is my second lesson on marriage, sex, and divorce. So 2 weeks or a week, I'm getting the witness now, and I want Hugh to tell me that Yehmimah came to her either the last Shabbat or the Shabbat after that. This is lesson number 4, coming to him saying what? Hugh, can you give a witness? Because I never actually heard it from you. I heard it through the grapevine, what Yehmimah had been saying.
Okay, it was on Thursday. We had a conversation in regards to the topic that we've been having the last past Shabbats. And she brought it to my attention that she wasn't in agreement with the teaching that you're teaching as far as marriage. And she came up with a few examples in the scripture to try to back up her, I guess, her doctrine. And after that, Oral was around, and I kind of invite him into the conversation just so somebody else can be present to the foolishness that she was saying or whatnot. And so I told her that it was best that, you know, she come to you and have that conversation and let you know that she's not in agreement with it and so forth and so on. And after that conversation, I was very concerned about Brother Kenneth because from the things that she was telling me, I just came to the conclusion that, as you said, she was just seeking after to get him. And so I figured that if she was in a situation that would give her the opportunity to seduce or entice him, that she would have did so. And so I spoke to Oral and asked Oral that, do he think it's necessary for him to speak to Kenneth? And he ended up having a conversation with Brother Kenneth, and that was about it.
Okay. She also,
another thing, Talia, she told me that she had a dream, right?
Mhm.
And she said that she had this dream the Shabbat prior to last Shabbat. And in that dream, she told me that Talia was standing over a dead body, doing something over a dead body. And it was her and Talia. She said she attempted to do the same thing, but when she attempted to do it, she wasn't able to do it. And from that dream, she said that last Shabbat, she fell asleep during the lesson. And the fact that she fell asleep and had that dream, that was, I guess, her confirmation that that dream was referenced to the teaching. And y'all had revealed to her that you was in error with that teaching as far as what you're bringing out now.
Is it correct that she said I was doing something over the dead body and I got some response? The dead body was responding to me, and she attempted to do the same thing, and she got no response. And and so listen, I believe that y'all didn't give her that. Satan did, but I believe it's true. But she's still blind. She's blinded by jealous. Now, that's the first lesson that I gave about marriage. Was she refused what I said. It blinded her. When the truth comes to you and you reject it like that, as I have been trying to help her with her issue, it totally blinded her. And I'm going to show you how blind she went from rejecting that message that could have saved her soul. And now to blaspheme me, to have a dream, and then in that dream, she concluded that I was a witch, a necromancy, and I was evil. But what does that dream actually tell y'all? Has she gotten a witness from Yah by the mouth of his prophet? What did that dream actually mean, if anything? That I was a witch and that I was a necromancer?
Similar to the scripture about Ezekiel, how he prophesied over the dead bones and how the dead bones responded because it was Yah speaking.
Right. Oh, Ezekiel. Right. I told you I was an Ezekiel prophet from the beginning. I'm blowing the trumpet. I'm a watchman. Speak to these dry bones, right? They responded. They came together, but they didn't have no spirit. Is that because of Ezekiel? What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to get a response out of y'all with the spirit. So this dead body started to respond to the word or whatever it is that she saw I was doing to the dead body. And then she went and tried to do it herself and nothing happened. What does that tell you? Vanessa, are you talking? But we don't hear you. What is that?
So we're saying, Vanessa and I are talking about that. So what we're saying is she couldn't see in her own dream that for her to speak to that body, she had no fruit of the spirit, which means she was definitely in error and she was very wicked. And to see that someone else could do it meant that she should have heeded what was being told to her.
Mm-hmm. And that she was jealous and that she actually wanted my gift. That's why she was struggling about how can I be a prophet and have all this knowledge and be anointed. Right. Elizabeth, did she not ask you that? Did she not question to you, do you think she's anointed or just really intelligent? What is it? Right? She was questioning my ability the whole time while trying to prove she was a prophetess having dreams. Mm-hmm.
So as Talia spoke earlier, Talia and I went for a bit of a rough patch, and I think maybe that gave Yehmimah the confidence to come and speak to me about this. But she said, well, she just asked me a question. She didn't necessarily imply a big conversation about it because we were speaking about something else. And she just said, can I ask you a question? I said, yes. And she said, do you think Talia is just intelligent, or do you think she's anointed? And I said, you know, I think Talia is intelligent, but Talia is definitely anointed. I said, what she's teaching has to be received from Yah. She's Yah's anointed vessel. That's not something that intelligence conjures up. That has to be received.
Mhm.
So I confirmed to her that I felt that
The
Talia
answer
was.
to that is that Yah has given me intelligence, understanding, and wisdom by his anointing, by his spirit of wisdom and intelligence. How about that? So she asked the wrong question, implying that intelligence means that I'm wicked and not anointed of Yah. Yeah, Satan can give you intelligence too. But the question is what I'm saying. Is it of Yah or is it of Satan? That's the question. Paul can speak by the spirit, and Paul can speak by wisdom, and he can speak by simplicity, and he can speak by intelligence. The question is not that. The question is if they speak in the truth, and is it the word of Yah? So she's over here dreaming all over the place and not heeding the very dreams in the one, but it's blinding her because what? She's full of lust. And I told her she can't have Kenneth, and I told her to stay away. And because of the jealousy in her heart over Kenneth, over me, is blinding her. Satan is taking over her mind. Now let me tell you how much, because now we have a witness that she knows very clearly that her thoughts with Kenneth were wicked, Kenneth vice versa, and that her pursuit of Kenneth was wicked, and that it was against the law of Yah. But all of a sudden she had a new doctrine once I started teaching on multiple wives. So Kenneth, you can come in from here and explain, read the text. And once again, I am in no way saying that Kenneth is innocent. It's not one-sided. I've gotten on Kenneth a couple of times about this. We have got a couple of brothers and sisters that have spoken to Kenneth about this, and Kenneth is not exonerated from his guilt, and I'm not happy with Kenneth. But there is a difference. And the way Yehmimah came was a difference. Look at that big old baby. Oh, look at that. Look at that thing. It's still a thing until it talks. That thing is humongous. Go ahead. Just the wobble in his big old head. Okay, go ahead, Kenneth. Your turn. And speak the truth. And nothing but the truth.
Right. So now that we're here at the camp, no, we didn't talk about anything. And yes, during my shifts of cooking, Yehmimah, I guess, so happened to be on my shift in the kitchen. We didn't talk. It was very, oh, could you hand me this, that, or the third? There was no personal talk with one another. But I had found myself struggling again, you know, when I see her every day. So one day, a few of us had went out to the store, and I was asked to walk her over to the phone store so she can take care of her phone business. And she began to talk with me, and I'm talking back with her, and I'm telling her, I'm asking her, this is by no means taking myself out of no situation, but I'm realizing what's happening with me. And so I'm asking her, when we went through this situation in September, and Talia had rebuked you and I, you know, for liking one another, do you understand why Talia had done it? And she had said yes. And I said to her, well, do you understand why we cannot do this? Number one, I am going through divorce, yes. But do you understand why, we can't do this? And she said, yes, y'all. She told me twice, she understood. So we didn't speak anymore then until one night I was sitting down on the beach by myself, and I was sitting at the fire. And when I turned around, Yehmimah had came down there, and she asked me, do I know where one of the members are? Her name is Ziona. Do you know where Ziona is? And I said, well, Ziona's up in the kitchen area somewhere up there. And
okay, stop right there. You know how that's a game, right? She came all the way down to the beach where nobody is to ask you where Ziona is, where obviously she was back at the camp. That's a game, but go ahead.
Yes. So she came that she stood down there for about 5 minutes and she's talking. And I said to her, then again, I said, Yehmimah, you know that we cannot be seen by ourselves. And she said, yes, I was just coming down. Because I was looking for Ziona and I just see that you have the fire going. But by that time, Ziona had already came down. So that was like 5 minutes of her just, talking. And yes, I'm talking back with her. And the next day, Oral and Hugh came to me and they was asking me, what was going on. And you guys were down at the beach by yourself. And I said, well, Oral, no, it wasn't that me and her just strolled off by ourselves, trying to be by ourselves. I said, I just happened to be there and she had came down. Then this past week, last week rather, she had sent me 2 text messages in the night. It was on Shabbat, and I think Talia, you was given this message that you've been given for the past couple of weeks, and she wrote me a message in the middle of the night, and her message was, hey, Kenneth, much has been said tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. It was an issue. We was having an issue with her that she just explained at the Shabbat table with Oral and what Chan had wrote and how she responded. And she thought everybody was oppressing her and coming at her. So that was that. So this past Friday, not yesterday, I'm sorry, last week, she had sent me a text message and she said, hey, Kenneth, much has been said tonight. And I take it that in the context of this group, there will never be a chance to get to know each other innocently. I understand the idea of prevention behind it all, but for me, it's like a piece of the puzzle is missing to make it all legitimate. So we will respect what has been said tonight in terms of not being alone, because this is Talia's group. But if the day comes that you decide to leave the group, I am more than ready to follow you. And of course, between us, things would be done in the order of Yah. The happiness of one does not always make the happiness of others. In another term, the birth of a relationship can arouse jealousy. And this is very heavily what I perceive in the context of this group. If I can just pause right there and just comment, her saying this, she didn't.
Before you comment, go back and read the first one. You skipped the first one. That shows your hand in this. There was 2 messages. The one before that.
The first one.
Oh, this one in December. There was a meeting we had at the compound where I was told about, my clothes, my attire, that I needed to change my attire. And she wrote me that night and she said to me, I felt heavily and sorry for the way it goes for you in the meeting. But I also know that all things work together for the good to those who love Yah. Some necessity change will be made in your wardrobe, and it's for the glory of Yah at the end of the day. And all that have been said, I will say to you, chew the meat and spit out the bones. You may have some clumsiness when you want to do good with the sisters, but don't let it change the gentleman and well-educated man that you are. And I responded, I said, thank you.
Before you respond, I want to break down what she's saying. Anybody realize what she's saying? I mean, y'all would have to know all the context and her nature, and what happened in that meeting that we had gotten on Kenneth about his dress code and him being too handy and touchy-feely with the sisters, right? It was about his dress code and being what we would call gentlemanlike. But I said, no, you touching the sisters, keep your hands off the sisters, keep your hands off the sisters. Stop paying attention to them, get out their face. Something had went down that we saw inappropriate. And so she's telling him, Yehmimah is elegant. She wants a man to dress nice too. I know she didn't like the way Kenneth dressed. She wanted to see him look nice. Okay, she agreed with that, but she felt sorry on everything else, right? She agreed in that you might be a little clumsy with your intentions with women, right? Meaning how you handle them, That means don't touch him the way Talia said, but don't stop being a gentleman to me. That's what she's really saying. You stop being clumsy with other women, but you can still be a gentleman to me. That's really what that's saying. But go ahead, and you responded, Ken. No. There was more to that. Am I correct? Or is there another message?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
there's
Another message.
there's two messages after that.
Go ahead.
I responded to her. I said, thank you, Yehmimah. What you said was encouraging. Now that I know better, I will do better with all of my sisters.
Mhm.
That was a response to that message.
And then
So the Friday,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. And then the next text message in the middle of the night, right?
About 9:48, she texted me on Friday, January 29th. And much has been said tonight, and I take it that in the context of this group, there will never be a chance to get to know each other intimately. I understand the idea of prevention behind it all, but for me, it's like a piece of the puzzle is missing to make it all legitimate. So we will respect what has been said tonight in terms of not being alone, because this is Talia's group. But if the day comes that you decide to leave the group, I'm more than ready to follow you. And of course, between us, things would be done in the order of Yah. The happiness of one does not always make the happiness of others. In another term, the birth of a relationship can arouse jealousy, and this is very heavily what I perceive in the context of this group. And a lot of the reason is put forward to make that happen, to make that up. At the very beginning, you and I lacked wisdom, but we couldn't tell. We just wanted to do things innocently in the light of all. Before talking about loss, there is an innocent natural attraction that occurs when two people like each other. It's completely natural and innocent, and I think we have it there. And that's how start many married couples that Yah unites without being necessarily the work of the devil. All this is to say that if we are seriously interested in one another, you should get your side in order with your marriage. And in Yah's timing, you and I could move forward. Are we on the same page, or am I being presumptuous? I responded to her. I said, Shalom, Yehmimah. I said, thank you for reaching out. I said, I know what my heart wants, and know you're not being presumptuous. I want to take the next couple of days to seek Yah to understand what his will is concerning us. Is that okay with you? She responded, glad to hear that we're on the same page. Amen to what you said. It's wise, and it reassures me that you're looking for Yah. So yes, it's okay with me. Now, the reason why I had responded to her, with that, within my struggle, I know this may sound weird to y'all, but I know what was going on in my mind and heart. I know that I was in the process of being divorced. My wife is divorcing me, yes. And so in my mind, I thought, well, maybe there is a possibility that I can get married again. That's what was going on in my heart. So I'm responding to her in this way, that I need to talk to Yah first and make sure this was of him. So that's why I responded to her this way. I'm not pulling myself out of nothing. I'm not saying I'm not guilty of anything, because clearly it shows that I am, but I'm just saying what was going on in my mind. Mm-hmm. So after that, Talia gives the message, and clearly Yah answered me and my thoughts and my questions on it to me personally. And when she gave the message last week, it was enough for me. But this is what Yehmimah said to me at 2:49 in the morning on Sunday morning. She said, Shalom, Kenneth. The subject of this last Shabbat, especially tonight, leaves me more than puzzled, to put it mildly. His message was clearly directed at us. It is very confusing, but it is what it is. Where I take exception is that the scriptures are forced to pass her anti-marriage doctrine. She was talking about Talia. Let me explain. I discussed the subject with Hugh during the week, mentioning the cultural aspect of polygamy from Bantu culture, which I'm from. The point of view is, she was saying that she believes that Hugh had talked to Talia about what she said to him, and Talia got angry in her lesson about the African culture aspects of this practice. This Bantu culture still abounds today in the practice of Torah, such as the law of circumcision, the law of the deceased brother, the law of the dowry, the law of the portion of truth for the jealous husband, certain part practices, the Shabbat, and other laws. She said, when I came into the knowledge of the truth and the Torah in my awakening, I just connected the dots. And therefore also the polygenics implicitly mentions the script in the scriptures, which I understand is not Yah's perfect will, but his permissive will. For whatever reason, because in my opinion, by tolerating polygenics at the time, today's non-virgin marriages are tolerated because of the existence of polygamy. Various passages demonstrate this. The most striking being Deuteronomy chapter 21 and 1 Timothy chapter 3, which suggests in the conditions to become a bishop that it is necessary to be the husband of one only woman, implying therefore that in the Moors to have several women was running. The most striking passage is that of Uriah, 2 Samuel, where it is clearly a case of polygenics, but she forces the scriptures by saying that Uriah has not slept yet with his wife, which is totally false. She was implying Leah was saying this. Mm-hmm. The scriptures absolutely don't testify that, which contradicts her argument for mixing seed in the body of a woman during X amount of years. Certainly Beersheba lost the first baby, but the second Solomon has come into the world, which completely cancels her argument about the women who keep sperm for X amount of years mixing seed. Yah will not permit that the one who he will make and build his temple come from a mixed seed. I've done my research, and the maximum for a woman to keep sperm in her body is between 2 and 6 months, and not indefinitely as she claims. So these arguments are off. I do not promote polygamy because personally I find it repulsive, but if something is said in the Bible, it must be transcribed as it is and not twist the word of Yah to establish an ideology. I responded to her the next morning at 11 o'clock. Shalom, Yehmimah, I understand what you're saying. I said, maybe you have a one-on-one conversation with Talia to grab a better understanding. Just a suggestion. To me, the word spoke pretty clear, and I'm ashamed that I have married out of foolishness, especially by way of me whoring around before that. This was the understanding when Talia helped us understand being married over and over again, and we played the horse. This is what I was explaining to her. I know what my heart wants, and that is to please Yah and to walk in righteousness. All things do require much prayer. And that was the end of that.
Okay. Can y'all see clearly where this had to go? She's blind now. She conjured up her, and with everything she discussed, she pointed out, we're going to discuss, right? We're going to discuss, and she would have had an opportunity to duke it out with me. She did it the way I told her to, but she's coming from a very personal interest, and her personal interest was to take Kenneth away. And can y'all see that her speech is totally wicked and against Torah? And I'm gonna prove it some more that what she's saying is wicked and it's not Torah. And that she's speaking, even though she may say that I presumed Uriah's wife was a virgin. I did. I got my reasons why I presumed it, but I still speak truth. And so I never said, without a shadow of a doubt, that a woman keeps sperm indefinitely. Did I ever say that? Well, y'all don't have the copy. I never said that.
You said DNA.
Yes, that's what I said. I said DNA. I said I read an article years ago that a woman holds sperm in the DNA. I don't know where it's hiding, where it's large. And then Shamira pulled up an article to show some evidence that women hold DNA in the brain. And that makes sense to me. Now, to say that women don't hold sperm past 6 months is against Torah, because, and that's no mixing seed is against Torah, because I just showed you what y'all talked about Don't mix diverse seeds. Don't mix your fields. Don't pollute your land. Don't shed blood on the land. What do you think a seed is but blood? Right? And so then we talk about the duty of a husbandman. So if you want to go and see the first duty of a husbandman, which implies the same thing, that this woman is holding the DNA of her first husband. The first situation in the Bible that happened, who was the first situation in the Bible? Anybody remember?
Was it Ruth and?
No. Sorry, give me a second. I'm mixing stories. It was with Judah and Tamar, the third son. How long did she have to wait for him? Now we don't really know, but we know that he was underage, right? For the third son. She was already grown.
It was a long time.
It was years. And once he got grown enough to have him, he still didn't give it to him, implying that the duty of a husband of the brother still is in effect. So that means that her body is still holding the DNA.
Right.
So she wants to undermine that. But we're going to get some more word on that, right? And so we can see the wickedness of Yehmimah, the dreams, right? First, so I'm going to show you what Yah says about dreamers all the time. She's the witch, y'all. She's the witch. How dare you accuse me of necromancy when I teach against that? You would never see me over a dead body doing anything unless by the spirit of Yah. And if that is going to be, then that dead body is rising and coming back to life like the other apostles did, right? But you would never see me at a graveyard. I teach against that. How dare she accuse me? This is blasphemy against the spirit, y'all. Blasphemy to say that I'm a witch. I'm not over here having dreams left and right. And so then we can get to the meeting. So we had a meeting. Maybe Priscilla, everybody was there. Maybe Arita want to speak to it. Who of a mature voice would like to short, because I'm in detail, right? Y'all, I'll tell y'all the whole thing, what this girl did, and then I'll show you the final text that she sent to me, Kenneth, and Hugh after that. Arita, would you like to explain what took place in the meeting in front of the whole group, as the whole group confronted her? But I was going to give her her judgment before she left. Mm-hmm.
Once she understood that she was going to get her judgment, she began to talk about how she didn't want to be with us anymore, that it was a dividing line for her, and she no longer believed what you believed, and she just didn't want to do that anymore. She then began to disparage you, talking about how you were a man and that she was elegant and that all women didn't have that characteristic. And she understood why some of them didn't like that. And the more that you all talked, the more agitated she became. Mm-hmm. And she became so agitated to the point that she was pointing her finger and just talking in a way that was totally disrespectful. And we listened to her for a while, letting her speak, because the question was, so what do you want to do? And she just got more and more disrespectful. And finally, her disrespect reached a point where it couldn't be tolerated any longer. And I came to the call at that point, asking what it would take to get her out, for her to go. We needed for her to go.
We were going to give her a few days, give her some money, return her money back, help her get a hotel and everything. Because I'm not about to go out cruelly.
Because what she said, when I asked what will it take, she said that it would take time and money. And so our response to that was, okay, how much time do you need and how much money? And she just still started escalating. She got worse. And I think that somebody else can probably speak to escalation, because I did come back on the call when it was finally decided that, no, you leave tonight. You cannot stay here. You have to go. And, you know, we're here, they're at the camp, but it was very clear that her disrespect, her defiance, her rebellion had taken over, and that she really did not intend to comply. She didn't intend to do what was right. She was bent on being disrespectful. What she was saying to Talia was just downright disrespectful and totally unnecessary. You look like a man. I mean, she just, and the other thing I was reminded of earlier today was her posture during that entire call. You know, she was all in a pale pink color. You know, her head was covered. One of her legs, you know, she's long. She has a very sinewy body. And one of her legs was propped up. And I just felt like her whole demeanor in that call was that same sensuality that she was trying to hold on to, that was in fact disrespectful and whorish.
Okay, anybody want to fill in some of the crazy stuff she said to me? Though I was giving her her judgment about her behavior. She was giving.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
She was also mocking a lot of the things that you were giving her in her judgment, Talia. Mm-hmm. She was taking the words that you were saying, and then she was saying, hallelujah, hallelujah. And it was like, what are you saying?
She was like, y'all bless you, y'all curse you, y'all rebuke you. She was saying, y'all rebuke me, and that I was manipulating the people and
exactly.
Slandering her and lying and twisting the word of Yah and blaspheming the word of Yah, right? About the whole Uriah thing. And she said, listen, I'm sorry, I am sweet, I'm feminine, I'm beautiful, I'm elegant, and you guys are not. She was saying it to the whole group, that all the American women were hard like men, and you, Talia, you're hard like men, you're like a man, you know, and you're a different woman than me. Even so far to say that she has a different DNA, right? That's why her mother and her mother's mother is like, I said, well, all your mothers are whores, right? I said, well, all your mothers are whores, right?
Canaanites.
That didn't come from Africa, that came from France, right? I for a living.
She kept saying that you were lying to us. She's lying to you all. Don't listen to her. She's lying to you all. She is not telling the truth.
Yes. And so we're going to talk about this so-called lie about Uriah, that I'm lying. I'm twisting all this one thing about I imply, which I did imply, that Bathsheba was a virgin. Not Bathsheba, yeah. Bathsheba.
The bottom line was that she said that she didn't want to change.
She said she didn't want to change. She wasn't
said and done, she did not want to change.
And she said that her and Kenneth had something special. I said, what's special between you and Kenneth? Oh, I can't explain. It's complicated. I was like, no. What's special between you and Kenneth? What do y'all got that's special? So basically, she didn't want to hear no judgment. She totally turned blindsided and cursed me and the group, and that y'all was going to judge me. Right. And that all this other stuff. She was sweet and like some crazy stuff. I can't even say it all, y'all. I can't even say it all. Are y'all clear about how that?
Excuse me, Prophet Talia. This is Emily. Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay. Yemi, she reached out to me. She sent me an email through the Skype. I read it the other day after all this had happened. Can you get this? I'm just gonna be quick.
Wait, we can't hear you. Something just happened. Can't hear you. What just happened? And then we're gonna get down to the lesson after this. No, can't hear you. Like, did the children press something? You were just on.
Me now?
I hear you now. Go ahead. So Yehmimah reached out.
Okay. I met her when I came on the board last year, March and everything. And that's how the two of us met, and we talked. So I really don't didn't know much about her, just knew that she was in France. So she sent me an email through the Skype the other day, and it's upstairs. I don't have it, but you know, it sounds like what she was saying was, she said, "Shalom, Emily. Don't believe anything that you heard about me." And I'm like reading, like, I don't have a clue. I didn't know anything. I'm innocent. I didn't know anything that she was talking about. But what she was saying was, you know, she was saying that the group and everything over in Egypt, she was saying that it was a cult. It was an occult. And she did slander you. She said that you was a sorcerer. She said that you was a fake prophet. And she said that none of what you're saying was true. She did say the part that you did say about come out of her was true, but everything else was not true. And then she was saying, you know, once we got to Egypt, she mentioned Yiska, and she mentioned justice. So I read through all this and I was like, oh yeah, what is going on? So I responded to her. I said, you know, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about you. I said, I don't know anything about what's going on with you in Egypt, because I rarely talk to anybody over there. So she responded back, and then what she was telling me, you know, so because I was asking her location. So she said she wasn't a part of the group. So I just wanted to let you know, that she did that, you know, and I'm not hiding it.
She'll get to everyone she can. She's spiteful. She will go and slander me to everybody. And so after that, she wrote something to Kenneth. I wrote this to her that Monday. Talia, no, I wrote to her, Yehmimah, I want you to know Kenneth has shown all of us your text messages. So that was proof to what I was saying that would have stopped her. I was actually very upset that Kenneth did not read those text messages while I was in the middle of making a judgment on her, and she was falsely accusing me of lying about her. And so you should be ashamed for your deception and your sinful lust. Repent. If you should decide to join hands to do or in speech to reveal our personal business or any further evil, you have condemned yourself and you will curse yourself. Do not try Yah. Repent. She writes to me and respond, I'm saying no, you can keep the money, because we offered her money and everything to help her get back. You know, like I said, there's no punishment system. I have no punishment system. Just leave, right? Shame on you. She says, shame on what? Telling him to do things according to Yah in his order. So we're going to question that her telling Kenneth all he got to do is get his divorce and get that in order, and we can walk forward in our innocent attraction in Yah. Crazy woman, shame on you for your twisted mind. Crazy woman, not even a prophet, pumping knowledge left and coming with it as if it was from you, left and right. No personality, no spirituality, weak and fake. And I will add on top of that witch, as Yah showed me in dream 2 weeks ago, and stop manipulating the people. And I just wrote to her what she hadn't seen. Witches and false prophets have dreams. Let he who has a dream tell a dream, and he who let he who has a dream tell a dream. He who has my word speak it faithfully. You didn't listen to the dream. Yah actually might have answered you. You cut off the kingdom from you and by your lustful dreams and your actions. And that was the end of what I had to say. She came back telling Kenneth he was a coward and telling Hugh, you can go ahead and tell the dream about me being a witch. Like, that's supposed to be a testimony to all of y'all that I'm a witch, because she had the dream. Am I correct about that, Kenneth and Hugh?
Yes, she said a little more to me, but that sums it up.
Okay, so Yehmimah is a spiteful, evil, wicked, lustful, revengeful, hateful witch. She has condemned herself to hell, as the dream has showed her. She's cut off the kingdom from her, because once you come to this plow and you finally hear the perfect will of Yah, the truth, the kingdom, the glad tidings of truth, and you reject it, you are cursed. You are cursed. Not only did she just curse herself by her words, but she also blasphemed the Holy Spirit that is working a work through me by the word. And I'll show you, just because she thinks that I might have misquoted, she says lie on the word or inject something in the word, that I'm a liar because the word don't say that. And I'm going to show you the error in all her ways. And so that is my judgment according to the word of Yah. Yehmimah is damned. Yehmimah is going to hell, and she will pay the consequence for her behavior when I did everything to save her from her own sin. And so she became wicked and disrespectful and blind because she refused to take righteous counsel and righteous judgment concerning her own sin, and therefore reverted to blaspheming the truth and the righteousness that Yah is sending through me. She's damned herself. And everybody that has now seen this message, and you take on Yehmimah to promote her, to support her in her slander, in her blasphemy, in her lies, you're all guilty. And those of you that have already done that with the rest of my enemies, you're going to hell anyway. You're just adding it up, making it a sure thing. I warn you now. Watch your words. Watch how you deal with the prophets of Yah. He said, touch my anointed and do my prophets no harm. It does not mean that you can't question or ask something concerning the word of Yah that a prophet might. You have every right to try the spirit by the spirit. But what does that mean? And how do you do it when you do it? And no one is going to sit here and act like I spoke as an autonomous occult and didn't give everyone the right to make a choice, know the truth, and question me, whether they believe it or they don't. Now I'm going to answer all her questions, and that will be on the YouTube for the whole world to see. I'm going to go through her argument, and I'm going to stop this. Yehmimah has received her judgment. Thus says Yah, it's done. Selah.